So I'll give a little bit about support, right, for those who might be looking at or attending medical school in the future, and specifically for NYT, right? So I'm not going to read all of that to you, but that's just an overview of NYT College of Osteopathic Medicine here at A-State. And so when you think about the premise of it and those who attend medical school, obviously to assist others, but one of the unique things about NYT is how we concentrate on those smaller communities, right? Those communities that may not have as many resources and being able to really help with medical needs in those areas. And so student support, right? A lot of people may not think about student support in something like a medical school, right? But it's very obviously integral, right, for success. And so what is student support, right? That's the first question. So it's services, initiatives, programs, and institution that are in place to assist with retention and success while in school, right? And so therefore, yes, medical school and NYT in particular does have tools for success and retention for those who choose to go to medical school, right? So here are some examples of programs and services. So registered student organizations, right? Some people are not aware that NYT and other medical campuses, right, have registered student organizations, right? Very similar to, for some people, when you were in undergrad or as you're going into your grad programs, there are organizations you can be a part of that serve as a support while you're going through your education in medical school. Student study groups, right? As with any part of education, it's always great to connect with those who are studying the same things as you, right? So you can be a little more successful, right? Academic support and career services, right? We have something called enrichment specialists that work with folks. If there's something that you feel like you might be missing in class, or you're looking at ways to achieve things as far as, study tips, right? How do I, I got a B on this, I want to get an A next time. What can I do better? Those types of things. As well as career services, right? Once you are gone through all of your material, this person works with you on your interviews, right? When you get ready for residency, and what are you going to do post medical school, right? We have a career services area that assists with that. We also have wellness and counseling, right? It may be something you're dealing with, or something that someone who's close to you, right, is dealing with, right? We have those wellness and counseling services, as well as financial aid, right? Financial aid for specific populations as well. And so I'll talk a little bit about one of those specific populations when we talk about our DEIB services. So again, I'm Yvette Allen Moore, and I'm representing NYT, but also specifically I work in the Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. So there you'll see the vision for that particular office, right? And so you think about diversity, that's bringing all folks from different backgrounds together, and diversity can be a great start, right? But it's not enough, which is why we concentrate on equity, inclusion, and belonging, right? So you're really asking the questions, right? Do people feel like they belong? Do they feel valued? Do they feel like they can bring their authentic self to a space? And those are the things that our office concentrates on. So here are some of the pillars of that particular office that we work on for NYT as a whole. And then I'm positioned on what's considered the Arkansas campus. So community partnerships, right? Those intentional partnerships that help people get the resources that they need, whether it's a connection, right, for post-medical school, or connections for scholarships, et cetera, right? Retention and success, right? What are those programs that help people to be successful during their time at the school? That could be programs, that could be your study habits, et cetera. But those programs and initiatives for your retention and success. And for some, it may be financial aid, et cetera, right? Because medical school is expensive. School in general is expensive. Pre-college outreach and access, those are the programs that occur for individuals who, for example, were in undergraduate and they know that they want to move into medical school. There are pipeline programs where folks can basically experience medical school before they get there to help better prepare themselves for that. Also, one of the things we concentrate on would be campus culture, right? How do we provide those spaces where folks, again, we talked about belonging. Do they feel like they are valued? Do they feel like they are listened to? And so we do programs, initiatives, et cetera, to assist with campus culture, to make everyone feel like they have that sense of belonging, right? And then inform, right? One of the things we want to do as we inform is help people to really understand what is the importance of DEIB. And again, DEIB is diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And also how are we transparent with folks so that they know what is going on and what is the progress that we have made related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, right? Is it a training, right? Is it a new policy, right? Those are the things that help people, again, be successful and bring their authentic self to a space. Here are some examples of how DEIB might look specifically for students. So these are trainings and workshops that help folks look at themselves, but also look at others, right? So how do you advocate for others, but what do you also know about yourself in areas where you might be marginalized, but also areas where you might have privilege, right? And so training and workshops for different folks. And one of the things to remember for medical school specifically is there are some competencies that folks are expected to have related to DEIB once folks go into their residency in medical school. And so our office helps folks achieve that goal. Also healing circles, working on campus climate for students, advocating for students and their needs, DEI clinic and career preparation, right? For some people, they're like, how do I implement DEIB, right? Into what I'm going to do as a future physician, right? And then cultural acknowledgements and celebrations, right? Being able to connect with and learn about and from others of various cultures. That is all I have. My contact information is on the screen.
We are glad that you are here at A-State or online. And we want you to know, as Dr. Branch Jones said, we don't want you just to survive. We want to help you thrive. And that's why we have services through the A-State Counseling Center. And you can get connected with us by calling the number there, and I will provide this PowerPoint to Shanita to send out to you, so you'll have these links, as well as I'll put the information in the chat, because we want you to think in terms of, am I just surviving or am I thriving? It is very common when we go through major transitions, and being a graduate student is a major transition. That can kick in some coping. Hopefully we have helpful coping skills, but sometimes just being in a new area may just trigger some things that we need some additional support with. And that's what counseling is. It's the opportunity to gain new skills to improve in whatever areas I want to improve it. If it's personal concerns, if it's communication, if it's my overall mental well-being and health. And we have a number of ways to do that. We offer, first of all, to know that if you or anyone else feels overwhelmed, that there's always help available. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And sometimes when people feel overwhelmed, they may resort to coping styles that maybe have not been the most helpful. And you may have friends and have dealt with friends in the past who felt so overwhelmed with things. And so we want you to know that the counseling center is open when the university is open. We're open from 8 to 5, and you can come. If you feel upset or you know somebody that's upset, bring them to the center. After 5, you can contact University Police, and the number is there so that they can contact the on-call counselor. Of course, if you're off campus, you can always contact 911, or you can dial the new suicide hotline number, which is 988. Now, as a student of ASU, it doesn't cost you any additional money. And as Ms. Mosley said, the services are private and confidential, and they are therefore guarded by Arkansas law and ethics. And because of that, we are all licensed professional counselors in the state of Arkansas, and we have to abide by Arkansas law. So that means if you're physically outside of the state of Arkansas, we cannot give you direct services because it violates Arkansas law. We will, however, help you to find services in your area so that you can get connected. but that's just one of those laws and ethics that we have to abide by. And just a reminder that counseling does require time and energy. And sometimes people have a lot on their plate, but know that it provides the support also. We do a hybrid, meaning we'll meet in person if you want to meet in person, but we also have a number of students that we meet with virtually. I have a number of graduate students that live in various parts of Arkansas that we meet for sessions virtually. How you get connected with us is to call that number that we'll provide. We have information for you to fill out, just like when you go to the doctor's office. If you don't want to call, you can stop by the student union. We will be moving at some point. The renovation for our new building is not quite complete yet, but we'll keep you informed as to when we make that move. And as you complete the online information, then you contact us and schedule an initial intake. That takes 15 to 25 minutes where we just visit about your concerns, enough to get information that we need to provide you the best treatment options. And those treatment options may include participating in some of our specifically targeted groups. I'm looking to help get a graduate student support group started. So I'll put my email in the chat as well. A couple of students have already contacted me about being a part of that. And so if you're interested in participating in a graduate student support group, then send me your contact information. And if you prefer virtual or in person. We also have, for people who are not sure about their career, we can help kind of tweak some of those plans and hone in on that. And then we do general speaking and services to organizations and clubs. So if there's any way that we can be of help to you, please let us know. We have an online self-paced module called Therapy Assisted Online. And this is a program that you can download the app for, where you can have reliable information literally on your phone all the time. It has great topics. I personally use the relaxation and mindfulness library. There are stress management, mindfulness, breathing exercises from as short as a minute to up to 15 minutes. I find it to be a great resource in my own practice. If you're concerned about whether maybe your stress level is a little more than just above the typical stress, then on our website, there is a screening link, and these are reliable screenings. They're anonymous, and so you can do kind of a self check-in to where you're at. These are just some good resources that I have found that are helpful, and I recommend them to students. Again, that they're free apps, they can be used at any time just to help us manage our stress and keep things from becoming too overwhelming. Again, the Anxiety and Depression Association of America has great resources on their site, as well as additional information on our website. I've also included in this a number of our programs. For example, tomorrow at 3:30 virtually, we're going to be doing a more in-depth discussion about suicide prevention awareness and how to recognize those signs and have that conversation. Then next week, we're offering Curb Your Overthinking and how to harness your anxiety for good. And the rest of the schedule is there as well. And then I've included our QR code, so you can scan that at your leisure and be connected with all our websites and all our social media.